Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So I'm at the park with the SWELLPRO Swift 2. Now I did an initial review on this, and this thing is awesome, super durable. I couldn't break it, even from like 50-foot fall out of the sky into the park. You know, all I did was bend the prop. And I want to give this one a round 2, part 2 chance, because apparently I was tuned to the wrong setting. I was tuned to the 25 milliwatt, really low power setting when I did the review. So I'm going to show you how to get up to the 500 milliwatt, or actually 400 milliwatt setting per the manual. And also SWELLPRO also sent me this new aluminum kind of GoPro mount, Swift mount. I think, are there 2 in here? I'm not sure, but I'm going to open this up. I'm going to install it on the top here so we can go ahead and test this, see how this does, and also give it a second chance for the FPV with these goggles. I got these new Commander Amway goggles where they're not too expensive, and they give the Fat Sharks a direct competition because you can, you know, put 2 antennas on it, and you can also have a fan that cools it off in your goggles if they start fogging up. And also this does scanning, channel scanning, so I really love that feature. If you're flying by yourself and practicing at the park when nobody else is around, scan it and it will find the right channel for your setup. So let's go ahead and install this and change the video power, and I'm going to show you how to do that first before we even install the thing. And here's how you change the power setting. So all you do is, after you're plugged in, you go ahead and hold this button in for 5 seconds. 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000, 4, 1000, 5, 1000. And then we see a number 3 blinking because I already changed it to the 3rd highest output power. But we can cycle it then by just short pressing this button. And we're going to go between 1, 2, and 3 on this little LED screen. So when I started this up, this was on 1, and I should have been, in my initial review, I should have went to 3, the highest power. So 1 is 25 milliwatt, 2 is 200 milliwatt per the instructions, and 3 is 400 milliwatt. So if you are racing in the club, you have the option to go through all those different power settings. So a great feature, really love it, and I should have done that in my first review. But what we'll do is, to save that number 3 highest power, is we'll hold in this button again for another 5 seconds, and then we see a blink and it goes back to whatever channel it was on, in this case C1. So that's how you change the power setting, and that'll give us a much better video experience with our goggles, which I'll record once we install this camera mount. And speaking of the camera mount, SWELLPRO sent this to me to test, and I guess, I'm not sure if you get 2 when you buy one, but they sent me 2, I guess, since I'm testing them, and in case one broke. These are 2 of the exact same things, so we'll be using 1 unless we break one while we're flying. But it's kind of neat. It's like a swivel here. So here's what you get. There is a nice sticky kind of silicone embedded in here to grip the camera on. It's got this nice and durable looking Velcro strap, and this nice orange aluminum to match the rest of the orange aluminum on the Swift 2. So it looks really good. And then you have this little swivel hinge here, and they give you a bunch of screws. Well, not a bunch, but it looks like 6 screws there, and a little Allen wrench that kind of has a rotating end on one end and just the regular on the other end. And so what we want to do is kind of loosen this screw here on the swivel pivot, and we should be able to pull this and get our degree of movement here. So we can see that we're going to be mounting the camera up here. That's going to be mounting to the front here, and we can get our pitch there. So it looks like what we need to do is take out these 4 screws and then slap this on and get that mounted up. Let's see how it works. Cool. So this wrench fits really nice and tight in the existing screws, so we're just going to want to take all those out. It looks like these ones are actually longer, so I think the screws that they give us in the bag are just kind of hardware screws for the mount itself. So we're going to definitely be using the same screws that are screwing down into these posts. Okay, so this is the last screw. Of course, you can just take the antenna off if you wanted to, or just push it out of the way to do this, but that's the last screw coming out there. And now we want to mount up the mount. So I think what we want to do is first kind of extend it out so that the screws. We can have easy access to the screws. So I'm just pulling it to its maximum. Looks like it can even go 90 degrees if for some reason you wanted to, or use it for something else. But here we go. So we just match it up. You see how it matches up perfectly to the existing holes, and then the same screws we just took out, all we're doing is putting these four back in and screwing them in all nice and tight. Okay, last screw, nice and tight. And what I'm noticing is the thing about SWELLPRO is they don't really skimp on quality. A lot of these RTF drones kind of skimp on quality, but it seems like SWELLPRO really pays attention to the quality of their products. You can see that in the fit and finish of this aluminum mount. Now we're going to definitely test the durability, but just by looking at it, and even the wrench they give us, no stripping problems. Everything fits perfectly in, so you're not going to be even stripping anything. So I'm really liking that they're paying attention to the quality of the stuff they sell. Okay, that's all mounted up, and for this flight, guys, I'm going to be using this ODR VM camera, this 4K camera I'm testing out. Now I may destroy it because I don't have a guard for the camera, but all I did was switch the Velcro. Instead of going this way, I switched it to going this way on the mount. So it's gonna just go right over this GoPro replica kind of camera, and it really sits on that silicone pad really nice and tight. Not gonna have to worry about anything. And the camera is adjusted. I'm at like the 30 to 40 degree rate of pitch, and so I'm kind of matching the FPV camera. I'm matching the high definition camera to be at that same pitch about, and then all we're doing is cranking this Velcro down like so. Seems like a pretty good system, easy to crank down, that's for sure. And the other side, just pulling it and pushing it over. So look at that. So super easy to crank down. That thing is not going anywhere. It might go somewhere if I crash really hard, but that's the pitch I want. That camera's in there solid, and then all we're doing is cranking down this side screw where it hinges so it won't move while we're flying. So I'm cranking that down nice and tight. Not too tight, but tight enough where it's not gonna move at all. That seems about perfect. Okay, cool. Let's boot this thing up and let's do our round 2 FPV test with the high power video output at 400 milliwatt and see how this new SWELLPRO mount works. Okay, awesome. So on the SWELLPRO Swift, it seems like the best way, it may be a good idea to get actually a bigger antenna. If you're going to put a camera on this, you can see how it's kind of blocked. So the stock antenna they give us, you may want to get something that's a little bit higher to clear the antenna, because it does clear the battery, but that camera might be in the way. So we'll see how it looks in the FPV. But with this one, the best thing to do is slide your battery back just a little bit to compensate for the extra weight in the front when you do put a camera on. And it seems like this one, you want to have the wires coming out the front, depending on how long the leads are on your battery, and strap it into the top. So when you plug in like this, your propellers are clearing all the battery cables nice and easy. You won't be hitting them with the propellers. All right, so with this one, remember both power buttons, power on the controller, power on the drone. Nice. Okay guys, so as usual, I will have the FPV up there on the screen, recording also side by side with the action cam video. And the switches we can see in this one is so awesome because we have a switch on the top right that turns off and on the OSD menu. You can see I'm switching off some of the function on the OSD if you want to have that more cleared up, which I'm going to do. I'm going to have that switched off. So all we should need to do is unlock the motors. And these ones spin when they're armed. As you can see in the camera, in the FPV camera, I am kind of seeing the top of the carbon fiber. So I think I'm at like 40 degrees. So, you know, you're going to see a little bit of carbon fiber there the more you pitch it up. So I'm in stabilize mode all the way to the top with the second to the, from the right switch. Cool, so let's go ahead and lift off. Alright, so everything should be recording, FPV and everything. So far so good. We're in stabilized mode. As you can see, we're up in Kula here on Maui. And don't forget, I am in stabilized mode. So I'm going to switch. I just switched into horizon mode so that we will be able to do flips and stuff. Speaking of flips, wow, this thing flips so quick and easy. Love it. All right, cool. So if you are not used to flying with the camera facing up, which I'm not entirely good at yet, keep in mind that you need to have some forward momentum for the camera to be like level. There we are. Hello, I'm on the left there. We're just flying through a vacant school parking lot because it is a Sunday. And we are flying again in acro mode, or not acro, but horizon mode, so we can do flips and stuff. Video's looking much clearer than the first time. If you remember my first review, oh my gosh, I was getting so much breakup, and I am sorry, that was totally my fault because I was in 25 milliwatt and that was not cool. So totally redeeming myself. Let me turn on the fan on these goggles. Sorry, they're starting to fog up. I just pressed the button on the top and now I have a fan on, and it's clearing up the fog in these awesome Amway Commander goggles. Definitely highly recommended. These are my go-to goggles now. Screen is now clear, no more fog. And man, this is awesome. I hope the HD footage is cool for you guys. I'm gonna try to fly way out here, spin around, and try to get maybe underneath this tree here. You guys can see this. Oh, that was my thumb shaking because I'm kind of nervous. Wow, this is so fun. Woo! Okay. Disarm, disarm. Okay, did you hear the props spinning still when I hit the fence? That's the thing about having props that will continue spinning. So I had to disarm because they're starting to go crazy. So I'm gonna get this, see what the damage is, and see if we can keep flying. So look at this. So we're stuck in the fence here, and that was totally my bad. I just lost track of what I was doing, but you know what? Looks like propellers aside, we got 3 mangled propellers. 4 is a little bit mangled. Propellers aside, look at what happened here. So the mount actually pushed back. It's probably good to leave this not too tight. The mount was able to push back. The camera got a little bit unclipped on the face. It still looks good. No arms are broken. One of the feet broke off. You see this little foot here? That's how they're supposed to look. So that foot broke off. And the cool thing is SWELLPRO gives you extra feet in the package. I can definitely replace this, no problem. Or just break all the rest of the feet off because you don't really need those feet anyway. They might just get in the way. So cool. Let me try to fix this camera and get it back up in the air, put some new props on it, and finish up this battery. Okay guys, so guess what? I totally spaced it out, and I forgot to bring my little toolkit today, and I'm so bummed because I wanted to finish this up and at least try acro. We tried attitude mode and ratitude, or horizon mode, or actually stabilize is the top. So we didn't get to try acro today. I'm so bummed. Totally my bad. I just forgot my little toolkit with wrenches to take off these props. As you guys may know, these lock washers, lock nuts actually, are super hard to take off if you don't have any tools. So I'm gonna have to call it, but I think that was a pretty good test. And the mount, here's what I would recommend for the mount. Let's do a quick little pros and cons. By the way, this camera, super cool. I actually mounted it by accident upside down just now, but the mount, this sticky surface right here, it's way good because the camera will not move. It does not move from wherever you strap it on. If you do have those cinch down Velcro straps, even better. This isn't a cinch, this is just like an overlap. But even with the overlap, that thing's in there super tight. The thing is not gonna slide around while you're flying. So the cool thing about this was it collapsed when we crashed. So even if you crank this thing down tight so it doesn't move in flight, it will collapse down, and so you don't bend the rest of your bracket. So I think it's a really good design. It looks a little bit fragile when you first look at it, but to be honest, it is very strong and sturdy because it is, you know, that T6 or whatever that is, aircraft aluminum, and very rigid and strong. And then again, this camera I'm testing is pretty cool. It's the ODRVM branded camera. These guys were asking me to review this also, and the cool thing about this camera is it comes with a watch, so you can actually take pictures and record remotely from your watch. So kind of a neat camera. You'll have seen that footage up on the screen. But anyway, I have to say, man, SWELLPRO Swift 2 round 2 with it was complete satisfaction. It flies awesome out of the box. The remote controller is so cool. There's so much settings you can go through. Of course, you can see the props just did not survive that fence. It was stuck in the fence. That's totally my bad. But that stuff's going to happen. It's going to crash, and you want to know that your quad is going to be able to fly after you crash like that, and this one will. All we did is we broke a little plastic foot. I did bring the SWELLPRO box with me here, and look what they give you in the box. They give you 2 extra prop nuts, 1 reverse and 1 regular thread. I think those are reverse thread and regular thread. And then they give you 2 extra feet, so throw this on as you break them. And once you run out, you can either buy more or just break off all these little tabs, and it will sit level just on the bottom here, and you don't have to deal with these feet breaking off anymore. It should be strong enough and fine. After that hard crash into the fence that mangled the props, you can see the motors are all spinning perfectly. No shafts are bent whatsoever. Man, I really did a number on these props, and I really wish I had a tool right now to replace them, but I don't. So that's going to wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.